be our bumper music. I think you'll like that. Well, thank you, folks, for being a part of the show, the Sherman Ray Black Success Magazine podcast. And hope you like that song. I was reminded by our friends over at YouTube that I can actually download some of their music, which is great. That's kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of makes the show when you're actually able to bring a little bit of music in the background, that kind of thing. And that's what we're doing. Sorry, I've got something in my teeth here. For those of you who are watching this on Facebook Live or on YouTube, pardon me, that's just kind of rude that I'm picking my teeth. But you get things in your teeth every once in a while. And this morning, I was able to actually eat a little bit of breakfast early, which is great because it's like on a Friday, you want to just have something, have something in your stomach before you start the show. As a matter of fact, we were reading an article one time, and it said that you should actually work out. You actually work out a little bit before you start a show, which is cool. I don't. I work out all the time, so it's just kind of you work out and you're always keeping all buff and stuff like that. Good show today, folks. It's Friday. We're next week. We're really kind of planning to have a couple of guests on the show. As a matter of fact, I'm reading a book right now, and it's called Flow, and it's by Marcus Johnson. So some of you, you've heard me talk about it before, but I'm going through this book right now. But I really wanted to be able to speak to Marcus, on a good level, because you hate to have a guest come in that you don't even know who the heck they are. I mean, face it. I do a lot of shows and I do a lot of interviews with people, and especially over the years. And I know some people, it's very tough for them to actually be knowledgeable about their guests. I don't want to be that way. I really want to be very knowledgeable about the person I'm speaking to. And so Marcus, their publicist, sent me his book, and this the forward by this is by Sheila Johnson. Sheila Johnson, for those of you who don't know, is a co-founder of BET, Black Entertainment TV, and so if she's endorsed this guy because he has done a lot in his life. I mean, the guy's an attorney, he's a pirate, he's a poet, he's a star, all that other stuff, and he's a writer and a publisher. And so I really felt like I really should read his book first. Already started getting into it, very cool stuff. So he'll be on. We'll be booking him fairly quickly here as soon as we get all of our ducks in a row on that. Looking forward to that. Also, we've been working on our magazine, which should be out here in the next couple of weeks. Just keep an eye on it. If you'd like a copy of it, we're going to have if you want a digital copy, it's free. Get a digital copy of Black Success Magazine. Just send me an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. And you can have a copy of the digital copy of the magazine. And I'm writing a book. My book is called How to Live a Truly Remarkable Life. And I'll talk a little bit about my life here in a little bit, maybe during the segment, about some of the stuff I've done. I've done some pretty cool stuff in life. I have to admit, I've done really cool. I've been to a lot of really neat places, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later during the show, so you'll know that my brother's been doing a few things in life. Today on the show, we're going to talk about some feel-good stories. It's Friday. It's a Friday. We're going to talk about some feel-good stories, about some things that have really happened great to some people, especially this week. Just been some neat things that have happened during this week to some of the star people. As a matter of fact, one of the people, I almost forgot about it, and I wanted to put it on. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. And let me write that down really quick, because if I don't, I will probably forget about it. All right, I just wrote it down. And we'll talk about that person too. So when we come back, we're going to get the show started. Let's talk a little bit about how to crisis-proof your business coming out of this pandemic. I think this will resonate with you because we're all coming out of this pandemic. It's been crazy. And so you definitely want to crisis-proof your business. So this is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We're back in just a second. All right. All right. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show first, folks. All right. Let's get back to the show, folks. All right, let's get back to the show, folks. All right, folks, and this is Sherman Ray, and I am back with Black Success Magazine podcast. This has really been a labor of love. It's just been fun to do the show, and to not just do the show, but to really kind of be a part of something that's I think is going to have a lasting legacy. Black Success Magazine really was birthed out of I don't know. I see just like any other group industry that we all need just somebody to speak in our lives and say, hey, you can do it, rah, rah, rah. Everybody needs a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, okay? Consider me your Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, except for I don't have the nice legs and I don't have the brains of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, but I want to be that person that's going to be your cheerleader and really bring you information, bring you insights into what people are doing so that you become that guy. I mean, you become that woman that you're out there just kicking butt, taking names, and building a relationship, building a business that people are really just going to go, oh my gosh, you are awesome. Matter of fact, I helped somebody yesterday. I had a Toastmasters meeting yesterday. I go to Toastmasters because I really want to be a better speaker, a better communicator. And you really have to, if you want to be a better communicator, I'm telling you right now, become a Toastmaster, get involved with that or any kind of speaking organization, and that will help you out. I mean, it really will. It just, in my life, I've been a public speaker forever. Did not realize how badly I was doing until I joined a Toastmasters group. And they showed me, they went, sure, you might want to think about this. You might want to think about that. Definitely get rid of that. And so that's what I'm doing. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in the community recently. Many of you heard about this already, and you heard about Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, after 60 years of being with Motown, said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to start my own label. I'm going to do my own thing. And he's starting his own label. And bravo, right? I wish I had some clapping here. Yay, Stevie Wonder, Stevie Wonder. Because you know what? He and the folks over at Motown have been together for 60 years, since he was like a kid. I mean, he was a teenager when he first got into Motown. And so, and that's really a testament. It's a testament to what a great relationship they've had. Stevie Wonder is a great talent. Motown is probably just right now, there's probably no animosity between them, saying we have had such a great relationship with each other. And so I could imagine right now Barry Gordy and all the guys over at Motown, they're all saying, you know what, Stevie, brother, we grew up together. We probably should have given you half the company already. but hey, I'm glad that we were together for all those years. And so Stevie Wonder is doing his own thing. Um, Congratulations, Stevie. We're looking forward to seeing some things. If you haven't heard, Stevie Wonder actually was doing, I think he did collaboration with a hip hop artist just recently. And so he's putting out stuff already, which is cool. There was an article that I saw. The guy's name is Chidike or Chidike Samuelson. He writes for Entrepreneur Magazine. He's a lawyer, freelance writer, and he wrote an article recently called "4 Crisis Proofing Lessons for Small Business Owners." Okay, it's 4 crisis proofing lessons for small business owners. A crisis is not altogether bad. It helps you think deeper, stretch your imagination, restructure your organization, and discern the real needs of your business. And this is important. We probably all found this out during the beginning of the whole COVID thing. Everybody's rushing to the store to buy toilet paper, right? I never got that. But I read an article on why we do that, but I still think it's kind of goofy. Anyways, but the thing that you find out during a crisis is you find out what is the most important thing, not only in your life, but in business. And that's really what this article is about. So many of us came through COVID. We restructured, we pivoted, we did all we had to do to do things differently. And hopefully, many of us came on the other side of COVID a lot smarter than we were when we first started. But just because we were able to make it through this pandemic, we want to basically say, okay, let's crisis proof us because something like this might happen again. And I think that's something that we all have learned from. We don't want to ever have to go through something like this again. This Chidikai, excuse me, Chidike, it's got a really funny name. Chidike, Chidike Samuelson. Okay, that might be it. So he talks about it. So he said some of the things you can do to crisis-proof your business is one, avoid false advertising. Avoid saying that your business is going to do this when it ain't going to do it. So he says many small businesses constantly grapple with the crisis of customer defection or constant inability to attract and keep new customers. The problem is often with our marketing strategy. You'll usually scroll through your timeline on social media will expose you to a myriad of ads for small and medium-sized businesses, all vying for your attention. In many of these ads, you'll find one nasty feature: false advertising. While these ads promise astonishing freebies or cut price deals, the reality behind often reveals something totally different. Okay, and this is just annoying. It's a turnoff. People just go, "I'm done. I'm not going to even look at you ever again." And so avoid that. Just don't. If your company is not going to do this, that, or the other thing, just don't say it. Number 2, spin the wheel. Don't reinvent it. 2 years ago, I served on a panel for a grant issuing body for up and coming African entrepreneurs. As I sat on the panel, I discovered that almost 90% of those who were unsuccessful were failing because they were trying hard to reinvent the wheel. They were trying to run a business that was novel in every single aspect. Their crisis was a lack of capital, and it was self-engineered. Okay? So, sometimes what we do is we're trying to reinvent the wheel that doesn't need to be reinvented. There are business principles that work because they've always worked. And if you just do those things, that sets a base for where you want to go. And then you can start looking at some, new inventive things. But why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? And, start with capital in your business. Start with it. You can't. I read an article, and this was years ago, and I was doing a teaching on this, a session on this, is that women in minority-owned businesses have fundamentally the same problem which leads to us not being successful. And the biggest one is undercapitalization. That's one of the biggest ones, is that we don't go into a business with, and white folks are very good at this. I mean, especially white males. They will go into a venture with $250,000 coming out of the gate. They will beg, borrow, steal, whatever they got to do to get that. They hit that threshold, and they're able to make it through a year, 2 years of business and that's what it takes in a business to get a business going. So, but we don't. I mean, black folks and women will tend to, over leverage our credit, do all kinds of things like that. And I'll tell you, folks, I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing. So I'm not saying something that I don't know of. I've done the exact same thing. Over leverage yourself. Now you're in deep debt, so that when something comes along in your first year of business, which it always does, trust me on this, always happens in your first year of business. Some $5,000-$10,000 bill, some unexpected thing happens, you're unable to survive that, and that leads to problems. So don't reinvent the wheel. So we're talking about how to crisis-proof your business on Black Success Magazine. We're up to number 3. Protect today with yesterday. Protect today with yesterday. So what we'll do is I'm going to take a real quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about this great article. I mean, it's a good article about how to crisis-proof your business. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine. Back just a second. Oh, not bad. I was able to save that. All right. Well, it's Friday. Thank you guys for being a part of the show today. Very excited about the show. I mean, it looks like we're a little dark over here too, isn't it? Kind of dark here. I'm gonna give myself a little more. Well, no, I'm not gonna do that because I do get a little crazy over on YouTube. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm reading an article, folks. We'll talk about it here in just a second. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this right now because we do a pretty interesting thing here. We record a podcast, and our podcast is actually separate from our video that we do here on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about part of an article that I'm kind of going through right now, and it's called "How to Crisis Proof Your Business." And the interesting thing about this is the guy who's writing the article is talking about his time in business, and he said that because he was working as a forex marketing guy, so he worked with finance and stuff like that. He said he obliterated a $300 account in one day. Okay, obliterated. Somebody was doing something. He was trading so he's trying to trade. I guess from what I get, he was trying to trade in forex, and he had $300 to work with. And in one day, boom, it was gone. He blew his whole wad in one time, and he's like, "going, I learned a lesson. I'm not going to do it again." Crises are unavoidable in business. But if you are keen on documenting your experience and adjusting your business to become resistant to that same crisis, you'll win in the long term. So, I think I've learned over the last, 20 years or whatever it's been in business that you got to learn from past experiences not to do the same things that you did before. And so I'm very wary now of partnerships. I'm very wary of this, that, and the other thing. And And that takes experience sometimes, or it takes you listening to a guy like me who's screwed up enough things that you say, hey, maybe I'll take that guy's advice. Maybe I will take a look at what he did, and I'll look under it, I'll look around it, and go, okay, I'll take your advice, Sherman. And but please don't. There are things in life that you don't need to experience, like pain. Some pain you don't need to experience in life. So take it from me that that's what's happening. Okay, let's get back with the show, folks. All right, we are back, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We were talking in the break here with some of the folks that are on Facebook that that there's a guy. We missed a step here in this talk today, but the writer of this article we're talking about here, he's writing for Entrepreneur Magazine, saying that this section was about protecting today with yesterday. So protect today, what you're doing today with knowledge that you gained from yesterday. And I was talking in the break about how I screwed up enough things that there's some things you just don't need to experience in order to know that's bad for you. And take it from me, or listen to guys like me, listen to people who've actually been in the marketplace for an extended period of time, not guys who've been in business for like a year. I mean, you learn things in a year that are very valuable, but I mean, over a few years that you've learned things and you're going, oh, shoot, if this guy experienced this and he's made it for any extended period of time, then you probably should say, okay, I'll take this advice for it. So let's go on to this last point here. Balance, risk, ratio, reward, the ratio. So balance, you've got to have a balance in life. The question I get most often, he says, as young entrepreneurs, how do I maximize profit? That question is vital, but becomes a bit worrisome when you see businesses trying a little too hard to make money from every margin in their business. Okay, so what he's basically trying to say is, look, not everything you're going to do in business is going to make money. Okay, not everything but everything you do in business should be able to be profitable in some way. Some way it should be setting the stage for something down the road. I do a lot of stuff where and we call it packing the pipeline. You're packing a lot of stuff in on the beginning. Think of business as a big pipeline, okay? Big, long pipeline. And at one end of it, you're packing stuff in, packing stuff in. You may not see anything come out on the other side for a year, 2 years. You may not see it, and some of them, you may not see it at all, okay? But you've got to be able to live with that. But everything that you're packing into one side should be there for a reason. It does not necessarily have to make money at that time, okay? And in some cases, success is built upon you helping people who you may never see anything from. And I've done that. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people that I'm not expecting anything from them. I just, you do it because that's who you are. And if that's not who you are, then that's who you want to become. You really do. You don't want to become the kind of person that every time you speak to somebody, you've got your hand out going, pay me. Okay, pay me for this. You will get paid, okay? You may not get paid in this lifetime, you may get paid in the next lifetime, or it's building onto who you are as a person. There's probably nobody that I've met that I cannot help them build their business. I am so very confident in that. I'm willing to put money on it. That there's nobody who actually has an idea that I cannot see an angle to it where you could build a business off it. There's just, and that, how I got that is I've helped hundreds of businesses over the years. I mean, I've gotten good at it. I mean, I've gotten good at seeing trends. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who was looking at building a business. She already had run that business for 10 years earlier. I didn't know it until later. And I said, oh my gosh, I should have told you, I should be asking you. And she goes, Sherman, thank you. You helped me see an angle to this business that I'd never seen before. And now I'm going to actually do it. And I went, oh, okay. So you learn a lot in business by helping other people, and you don't have to feel like, you know what, I need to get paid for everything I do. Okay. So, anyways, when we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about. Oh, we're going to do a feel good story. Okay. I think feel good stories are great. I love them. Where people are talking about some of the cool stuff that they've done. I think we're going to learn something from this. I really do. So, anyways, this is Sherman A. Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We're back in just a second. Cheers to you. Good cup of coffee. Oh, I know what happened. So I changed my lighting here in this room, folks. That's what it is. That makes sense. All right, cool, folks. Let's get back to the show here. Okay. All right, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is Black Success Magazine, the podcast. We've been talking a little bit about some pretty cool stuff here today. In this last live segment, we were talking about how to crisis-proof your business, and I'm going to turn the corner and talk and pivot just a little bit about a really feel-good story. And love feel-good stories about people who have just made some great deals and some things that have really worked out in their lives. When we started out, we were actually talking about Stevie Wonder, because Stevie Wonder just parted company with Motown. 60 years they've been together. I mean, that's a long time. I mean, it's just a long time. Well, there's a couple of guys in Nigeria. They were in Lagos. They They just sold their company. Wow, this is big. I don't know if you saw it. Stripe. This is from TechCrunch. So I love tech stuff. This TechCrunch wrote Ingrid Lundgren wrote a story earlier. I think it was just yesterday. She actually posted this. And Stripe acquires a Nigerian company called Paystack for, guess how much? $200 million. $200 million that these two guys sold this company for. And these are two young guys. Bravo. Yes, I'm so excited for these guys that they were able to, and they got these big smiles on their faces like, I mean, these guys are happy. The one guy's like really happy. Stripe announced earlier this year that it picked up another $600 million in funding. It said one big reason for the funding was to expand its API-based payments services into more geographies. Okay. Today, the company is coming good on that plan in the form of some M&A. So, Stripe is acquiring Paystack, a startup out of Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm Nigerian, so I'm Jamaican by way of Nigeria, or Nigerian by way of Jamaica. Like Stripe, it provides a quick way to integrate payment services into an online or offline transaction by way of an API. And that's pretty cool. Paystack is currently, guess how many customers this guy's have? Paystack has 60,000 customers. Okay, I don't know when they started. I probably should do some background on these guys to find out when they started. But they have 60,000 customers, including small businesses, large corporations, fintechs, which are real cool, educational institutions, and online betting companies. And the plan will be for it to continue operating independently, the company says. So, not only did Stripe get a company that they bought up, but these guys they don't want to let go. I mean, it's almost like what happened with Zappos. Tony Hsieh. So who bought up Zappos? I forgot who Zappos. So somebody will remind me who bought Zappos up. But they said, "Hey Tony, would you stick around, and run the company for us?" Which is cool. And Tony said, "Well, sure, I'll stick around. I love the company. I don't want to go anyplace." And Tony Hsieh I think is just retiring this year. Don't quote me on that, but I just saw something that says he's going to retire pretty quick. So reports are that these two brothers, sold the house for $200 million. That can buy a lot for a startup. I mean, really, I am just so excited for these guys that it just gets me going. Where else do we want to go here? Let's go to GoDaddy. Okay, GoDaddy. I'm gonna have I'll have time. So if you're just starting your company, and many of us are, especially you're pivoting, changing things. You're not a social media giant. You're not a big WordPress guy or something like that. You don't know how all this works together. GoDaddy has actually got a suite that will help you build your website, build your brand, all that stuff. And it's called GoDaddy Marketing Services, I believe it is. And this one is actually from Entrepreneur Magazine. It says a new service from GoDaddy makes it easier to start your business successfully from the ground up. With its websites plus marketing offering, there's no need to let a lack of technical expertise hold you back from scaling your business. Now, Black Success Magazine is actually on GoDaddy. We don't get paid by GoDaddy to say this about them, and maybe we should probably talk to them about this. But GoDaddy's gotten some good stuff, and we really just encourage you that look for that when you're starting a website. Look for that if they can integrate all the things you need to help you, or integrate these things into your website that will help you as a business, grow your business. So let's do this. Let's take one more break, and then we'll end up the show. This Sherman, Black Success Magazine, the podcast, and we're back in just a minute. All right, folks. Let's take just a short break here, and we'll get going with the show. We don't want that one. I like this one. There we go. I'm going to turn up a little light here because I just seem to have really very low lighting here. And I'm going to turn up a little bit more lighting. Oh, yeah. That's a little better, huh? There we go. All right. We are almost done, folks. We're on the home stretch of the show. And I hope you're enjoying the show. I really do. This has been a kind of fun thing to do. All right, almost done here, folks. Let's get this show done. Let's get this gate. Got so much stuff to do. We really do. I'm enjoying that song. How many of you are just enjoying that song? I really am, and we won't have the time to do this on the. So we're still kind of in a break right now, folks. So for those of you, this is who are with us on YouTube, you're with us on Facebook Live. Really like to put out a call to you, and the call is basically if you would like to be a part of the show. If you think that you'd like to get in a broadcast, you'd like to get into the digital, marketplace or something like that, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to talk to you about being a part of the show, especially if you're really great at doing this kind of stuff where we push out our message to YouTube and video, that kind of stuff, and you do video switching and stuff like that. What we're hoping to do, so just call us. All right, give us a ring, send us an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you about being a part of the show. We've got some cool things that are going to be happening, especially next year, and we're going to need a lot of hands, a lot of people to be a part of the show. And we are getting a lot of traction. Our Instagram page, it's just blowing up. I'm very excited about that. I really see that for the future that things are going to just be amazing. So send us an email, blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com, and say, Sherman, I'd love to be a part of the show and what you're doing. Okay? We appreciate that. All right. Let's go ahead and finish up the show, and we'll let you get on with your day. And folks, it's Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We really appreciate that. In the break, we were just talking about, we were kind of asking folks, if you'd like to be a part of the show, send us an email. Send us a text message to blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com and say, Sherman, we'd love to partner with you, be a part of the show. We've already had people want to advertise in the magazine once it comes out. So there's always great opportunities. Just send us an email, blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. Also, on YouTube, on our Facebook page, like us, share us. We'll actually be putting out the podcast of this, probably about an hour after the show ends. And then you can share that. It's just the audio portion, which is great. And for some people who just love to see my bright, shiny face. And there are people who are out there who do love that. that you can still see the video, which is cool. And it's up on YouTube at Black Success Magazine. Let's finish off the show. I started an article yesterday, and this is by Forbes, and it was talking about how to scale your service-based business. And I think some of the things that I missed a ton of them, so I'm just going to give you a couple, because one of them is really something we're going to be working on here with Black Success Magazine. Just amazed that we're going to probably go whole hog on this, and it is how to embrace streamlining and automation. Streamlining and automation. And there's a lot of things that you're doing that a lot of business owners, they don't want to. They want to just do it hands-on, everything they do, hands-on, and yet you don't have to. There's some things that you do as in a business that you don't have to do hands-on. You can have let's say you have a service-based business that makes something, and there are repetitive things that you do all the time. There's machines that can do that. There's software that will do that. So embrace those things. Don't, there were back in the early 1800s, 1900s, there were people who hand rolled cigarettes. Okay? Lick, hand roll. Lick, hand roll. Maybe not lick it, but you know what I mean. And what they ended up doing is they ended up going out of business, because when it came out with a machine that would do it, these guys go, oh no, we hand roll everything. And those companies are what we call non-existent now. And you've got to learn to embrace automation, because sometimes automation really does a great thing for you. Okay? So embrace streamlining and automation. Number 4, focus on profit and process. Scaling a service-based business requires being able to profitably deliver the service the same way every time. Okay? Profitably delivering the service the same way every time. It comes down to 2 things: profit and process. First, you need to be sure that your margin on the service is high enough to cover the labor expenses of delivering it at scale. Invest in training so that you can hire entry-level teams, and try anchoring your price to value rather than time. Okay? And there's so much more to this. We're not going to be able to go through the whole thing here, but what we'll do is we'll put a link to this one on our show notes. I'll do that here before I kick off today. This is a pretty good article, and you want to get a hold of this article. As I said before, folks, we'll be back Monday at 8:30 in the morning. We're here Monday through Fridays, 8:30 to about 9ish, 9:15 on YouTube and on Facebook Live. We really appreciate you being a part of the show, folks. Tell your friends about us. Say, hey, Sherman's going to be on. He's going to be talking about some cool success things on Black Success Magazine. We hope you will follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on so we're Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're all over the place, folks. And you can actually go to our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com to check out our articles, and we're always updating that all the time. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, folks. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. And thank you, folks, for being a part of the show also. We just thank you so much for being with us each and every day. We will see you again Monday. Thanks a lot.